For 3 years, he washed her clothes, he cooked her meals, he swallowed insults in silence. Then one mistake destroyed her fortune and revealed who the real man was. Before we begin this story, tell us where you are watching from in the comments so we can send you popcorn as you enjoy this story because this story is just getting started. Please don't forget to subscribe for more captivating stories. In the town of Benin, there lived a woman who made grown men tremble. Her name was Zara. Zara wasn't just rich, she was powerful. She owned the biggest textile factory in 3 states, employed over 500 workers, and her signature was worth more than most people's houses. And in her marriage, she ruled absolutely. Chidi! Chidi! Zara's voice rang through the mansion one Tuesday morning. Her husband appeared quickly, wiping his hands on a towel. Yes, my dear. Why is my breakfast not on the table? What are you doing? I was just helping the maids with. I don't pay maids for you to do their work. I pay them to serve this house. And I pay you. Well, I take care of you. Now, where is my breakfast? Chidi nodded quietly and hurried to the kitchen. This was life in Zara's house, and it had been this way for years. Zara had married Chidi when he was a struggling accountant, working in a small firm and barely making enough to feed himself. She saw something in him. He was gentle, educated, and most importantly, he didn't challenge her. I don't need a man to provide for me, Zara had told her friends at their wedding. I need a man who knows his place. And Chidi knew his place very well. At night, Chidi would lie beside her, close enough to feel her warmth, yet farther than strangers. Sometimes he would reach out gently. Babe, he would whisper. She would sigh and turn away. Not tonight. At first, Chidi thought she was tired. Then one night, he asked quietly, did I do something wrong? Zara laughed, a short, careless laugh. Wrong? I'm just not ready to get pregnant. I worked too hard for this body to ruin it with a big stomach. Chidi swallowed. But we're married. And so, she snapped, marriage is not a license to destroy my future. Do you know how many women beg for bodies like this? From that night on, excuses became routine. Not now. I'm not in the mood. I have meetings tomorrow. I can't afford to lose my shape. Year after year, Chidi remained a married man who lived like a visitor in his own bed. No intimacy, no closeness, no reassurance, only silence. Zara's friends admired her control. They would visit the mansion, sit in her luxurious living room, and watch as Chidi served them drinks and snacks. Zara, you have trained this man well, they would laugh. Our husbands would never be disobedient. It's simple, Zara would say, sipping her wine. I made the rules clear. I am the head of this house. I make the money. I make the decisions. He benefits from my success, so he respects my authority. Every night, after Zara fell asleep, Chidi would sit on the balcony and stare at the stars. He would remember the man he used to be, ambitious, confident, full of dreams. He had wanted to open his own accounting firm. He had wanted to provide for his family. He had wanted to be something. Now he was nothing. Just Zara's husband, Zara's servant, Zara's shadow. But he said nothing. Chidi's mother decided to pay them a visit. She arrived quietly one morning, settling on the couch while observing the house with a careful eye. That's when she heard Zara's voice, casual yet commanding. Babe, she called. Yes, Zara, he replied. Zara asked casually, have you washed my underwear? The words hung in the air. Silence followed. Chidi's mother slowly lifted her head, shock etched across her face. I I was about to do it, Chidi stammered. Go and wash it properly, and don't mix it with other clothes, she instructed. Chidi walked away quietly. Later, in the privacy of his room, she finally spoke. Chidi, come. You wash your wife's underwear? She asked, disbelief and hurt in her voice. Mama, it's not. Chidi tried to explain. Is it because you don't have money? She asked, her eyes searching his. Tears filled Chidi's eyes. I lost my job. I tried to get another one. Nothing worked. Every day she reminds me that she feeds me. he admitted, his voice breaking. My son, poverty should humble a man, not erase him, she whispered. I'm tired, Mama. I feel invisible in my own house, he confessed, the weight of his helplessness finally spilling out. Zara often sent Chidi on errands around the neighborhood. That was how he met Ifunanya, a young woman who ran a small shop nearby. Unlike others, she spoke to him kindly. You look tired, she said one evening. Life can be heavy. No one had spoken to Chidi like that in years. As days passed, their conversations grew. She listened. She laughed at his jokes. One day, she looked at him closely and said, You're a very handsome man. No woman should treat you like you're nothing. Chidi smiled sadly. You don't know my life. Her words stirred something in him. Hope, temptation, danger. One rainy evening, Chidi stayed back in her shop longer than he should have. They sat close, too close. Ifunanya reached for his hand. I like you, she whispered. For one brief moment, Chidi imagined a life where he was wanted. Then he stood up. I'm married, he said firmly, and I won't dishonor myself. He walked away, his heart heavy but his conscience clean. Months later, Zara made a big announcement at dinner. A businessman from South Africa had contacted her with an incredible investment opportunity. If she invested heavily in his new manufacturing venture, she would triple her money in just 1 year. This is it, Zara declared, her eyes shining. This will make me the richest woman in the entire South region. Chidi frowned. Babe, have you verified this man? Have you done your research? Babe, I didn't build my empire by being timid. I know an opportunity when I see one. Maybe you should investigate more before. Zara's head snapped toward him. What do you even know about business? You've never built anything in your life. Leave the thinking to me. Zara invested everything, the factory, the restaurants, the hotels. She took out massive loans against all of them to raise the capital for this golden opportunity. The South African businessman was smooth, professional, convincing. He showed her documents, contracts, projections. Everything looked perfect. For the first 3 months, everything seemed fine. The businessman sent updates, reports, even some initial small returns to build her confidence. Then one morning, Zara woke up to find her phone flooded with messages. The South African businessman had disappeared. The company was fake. The documents were forged. And Zara's entire fortune, everything she had built over 15 years, was gone. Just like that, the news spread like wildfire. Within days, her creditors came calling. The banks seized the factory. The hotels were auctioned off. The mansion, her beautiful mansion, had to be sold to pay off the debts. Zara sat in the empty living room as the movers took away her expensive furniture, her Italian marble tables, her designer couches. She watched in silence, too shocked to even cry. The maids had already left. Without her money, there was no reason for them to stay. Even her so called friends stopped calling. When Zara needed them most, they vanished like smoke. All that remained was Chidi. They moved into a modest apartment. The move to the small apartment was the most humiliating day of Zara's life. The woman who once owned properties across 3 states now lived in a place smaller than her former bedroom. There were no maids, no driver, no cook, just Zara and Chidi and silence. For days, Zara said nothing. She only watched Chidi wake up early, prepare breakfast, and sit calmly with his laptop every morning. One evening, she finally asked, her voice empty, What do you always do on your laptop? I work, Zara frowned. Work? What work? I got an online accounting job over a year ago. International clients. Zara's breath caught. You've been working all this time? Yes. The rent, the bills, the food, she whispered. I pay for them, he said softly. Not with big money like yours, but enough. Her hands began to shake. And this apartment? She asked slowly. I bought it, Chidi said. Long before everything collapsed, it was mine. Zara felt the room spin. You had your own place, your own income, your own stability, and I treated you like you were nothing. Chidi nodded. You mistook silence for weakness. Tears streamed down her face. You could have left, she cried. You didn't need me. You never did. Yes, he replied gently, but I stayed because marriage is not about power, it's about commitment. Zara sank to her knees. I was so terrible to you for so many years. I treated you like you were nothing, like you were less than the maids, less than the furniture. I made you small because it made me feel big. I had money, but no humility. I had power, but no love. Chidi lifted her carefully. Then let's rebuild. This time as equals. Zara hugged him passionately and whispered, I love you, babe. From that night on, something changed in Zara. The pride that had ruled her life began to crack and fall away like old paint. She started waking up early to prepare Chidi's breakfast before work. She learned to cook properly, asking neighbors for help without shame. She cleaned their small apartment with care. She managed their tiny budget, stretching every naira as far as it could go. And most importantly, she learned to say words she had never said before. Thank you, Chidi, for providing for us. I appreciate you, Chidi. What do you think we should do? I'm sorry. Each word was difficult. Each word cost her pride, but each word made her more human. A person who cannot humble themselves will eventually be humbled by life. But a person who learns to serve others with love, who treats their partner with respect, who values character over money, that person builds a foundation that can never be shaken. What are your thoughts? Would you have forgiven Zara if you were her husband? Share your thoughts in the comments. Also, subscribe to our channel for more African tales that teach powerful life lessons.